And for the next portion of your Smart Notebook training, we're going to be looking at creating interactive lesson activities. More specifically, we're going to be focusing on a hide and reveal activity. And there's 3 techniques that we're going to be looking at today, which is, the first one is move and reveal, the second one is order and reveal, and the third one is erase and reveal. So here's an example of the finished product, what it would look like. We have a question, which is, in this instance, is where is Tutankhamun's tomb? And we have 3 possible scenarios, which are the 3 techniques we're going to look at. So the first one, the move and reveal technique, which involves having a box that covers over the answers to have it revealed later on. The second technique is order and reveal, which allows you to slide over and reveal the answer which is quote-unquote hidden. And the third one is erase and reveal, which is as simple as it sounds, where we use either the eraser that's in the pen tray to erase and reveal, erase the board and reveal the answer. You could also use your hand as well. So now I'm going to show you how to do these. So the first one we're going to look at is the move and reveal. And the first thing you have to do with move and reveal is you have to create a question and an answer, which involves creating 2 text boxes. And how we're going to do that is we're going to go to the toolbar in the Tools panel. We're going to select the text button, and we're going to click on the board, and lo and behold, we have a text box. Clicking on the keyboard button on your pen tray will bring up the keyboard. So we're going to ask a question, which is where is King, I'll call him King Tut for short, no mistake, King Tut's tomb. All right? And there we go. So that's question 1. And now we're going to create the answer. And now we have an answer text box, and we're going to click A for answer, and we're going to put in, okay, in the Valley of Kings. All right. So now we have our question, our answer, and we're going to put that, there we go. So next step, what do we do next? Well, we're going to have to draw a rectangle in order to cover the answer so that we can reveal it later on. How are we going to do that? We're going to back to our Tools panel. We're going to select the Shapes button. We're going to select also the Rectangle button, and we're going to, with our finger, simply draw a rectangle. Now we want to fill it, and so how are we going to do that? We're going to go back to our Tools panel. We're going to select the Fill button, pick a color, and simply click on your rectangle or your shape, and it automatically fills up. The next thing we're going to have to do is put some copy or put some text in there for instruction for the user. So how are we going to do that? We're going to double click on the image, and that's not working because I'm still in my Fill button here. So I go back, always go to the Tools panel or to the toolbar if you're not sure if things aren't working. So we go back to the arrow, click, bring back my keyboard, which is in my taskbar, and I'm going to ask them to move the rectangle. Okay, there's something wrong here. There's another text box that's superimposed on there, so I'm just going to go back there. There we go. So I'm going to say move the rectangle to reveal. There we go. All right, so we've got that. Now, I don't like the black copy, so I'm going to highlight it with my finger, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to change the color of it. And if you make a mistake, you can always bring up your keyboard, and there you go. All right, so here we go. Okay, so now we have our question, our answer, we have our text box, we have instructions as to what we're going to tell the user to do. And in step 5, what we're going to do now is we're going to lock our question and answer to make sure that it doesn't move around inadvertently before your answer is revealed. So we're in the arrow, I'm going to click on the box, and there's a drop-down menu here. I'm going to click on the drop-down menu, and in this I have an option to lock, and I'm going to lock it in place. And I'm going to do the same thing for the answer. The drop-down menu, we're going to lock, and we're going to lock it in place. So now we have our lock, we have our question answer, we have all of that. Oh, and that is the end of the lesson. So what we need to do is we present it like this to your students, and when the student comes up, they can move the rectangle to reveal the answer. So that's the end of move and reveal. Now, the second technique is order and reveal. So again, we create 2 text boxes, question and an answer, like we did in the first lesson. We go to the text button, get your keyboard up, and start typing. The second step is that now we need to change the font color of the answer because we're going to reveal it a bit later on, and this is how this technique works. So I'm going to go to my text button, I'm going to click on my answer, and I'm going to leave the A, and I'm not going to touch the A. I'm going to highlight the answer itself, but leave the A as a marker so that I know where the answer is. I'm going to go to my contextual panel, I'm going to click on colors here, and I'm going to make it the same color as the background. So in this case, it's white. So click on the panel, click on the board, and lo and behold, we have that. The next thing we have to do is we need to create a shape like we did in the other example. So we're going to go back to our tools panel, select a shape, select a rectangle, and as simple as that, drop down with your finger, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the fill button, and we're going to make it blue again. And now we have our rectangular box that will, quote unquote, this time reveal our answer. But the trick is that now we have to send the box to the back in order to reveal that. So we're going to make sure that we're in the arrow. We're going to click on our box. We're going to go to our drop-down menu, and we're going to choose the order feature here, and we're going to send this box to the back. So now we have our question answer, we have erased, or sort of we have covered our answer, and now we have our box that is going to be sent to the back. The next step is that we're going to create some instructions. We're going to tell people what to do because obviously people don't necessarily know what to do. So using the text box, I'm going to create one, summon up my keyboard, and I'm going to put move rectangle to reveal answer. Okay? Go click on here if you make a mistake. That's a funny looking too. All right, so there we go. All right, so now we have that. So we don't necessarily know where to move it to, so I'm going to, going back to the tools panel, I'm going to click on the arrow feature, the line feature, and I'm going to, there we go, I'm going to pick the type of arrow that I want. So I want this, and let's put that at the end, and that's a good thickness. And with my finger, I literally simply draw an arrow saying, move the rectangle to reveal. Now, the last thing before we implement this is we need to lock, like we did in the last one, we need to lock our questions and our answers. So we're going to lock it in place, and the answer, thank God there's the A there, that I know where it is. Go back to the drop-down menu, choose the locking feature, and lock in place. And as a student comes up to the board, they can simply drag the box to uncover the answer. And that's the end of that one. So the last technique we're going to look at is the erase and reveal technique. Now, same thing as the last two. Create 2 text boxes using your text button. We have our 2 boxes, our 2 text boxes. Next thing we need to do is we need to select a pen tool from the tools panel, and we're going to cover up the answer this time using a pen. So we've got we picked our pen button, our pen tool from the tools panel. We are picking a color. We're going to pick white, the same color as the background. In this case, white. And we're going to pick a thickness. And the thickness we're going to go over here in the contextual panel. And these are your line styles and your thickness. I'm going to pick that one. Not too fat, not too skinny. There you go. So same thing with this. As the last one, you want to make sure you have a marker that you know where your answer is going to be. And you simply go over it, and there you have it. Go back to your arrow just to make sure that you've cleaned, so you've got your question, your answer is covered up with your pen in white ink. The next thing we need to do, I just did that, so I'm going to do it again. Step with the pen, well, we can do that again. So we choose our pen, we choose our color, which is white, we choose our line style, we have that, and quickly we can, there we go. So we have that. Now, we're done with that one. Next step we need to do, obviously not everyone knows what they need to do, so we're going to create a text box using our text button in the tools panel, and I'm going to put it under here, make it simple. All right, we're going to bring up the keyboard, and we're going to say use the eraser to reveal. There we go. All right, so now the student has their instruction. So the student comes up to the board, either picks up the eraser, or with their hand, simply by erasing the board, they reveal the answer. Simple as that. And that's the end of those three techniques. Now, why would you want to hide information before you talk about it? Well, one is to engage your students and to make them think and help them prepare better, so that you're not just giving them all the questions and the answers all at the same time, so that they can reflect and they can come up to the board. And it's also to engage them and to make the lesson more interactive. So that's it for this lesson. Thank you very much.